y'all know all the X's and O's, man. I'm just sitting at home watching. I don't like to get into that because I don't believe the game is really decided on the field.
Hey everyone, guess who's back? It's Kamish back here with another draft preview, and this time we got somebody who might be part of this Carolina crew. I don't know. Again, I got to thank Bishop for bringing in a lot of team members last year, and Just a Redhead is a guy that came in and missed, I believe, the first few rounds of the draft last year, and unfortunately ended up with the old man Travis Kelce early on, etc. Which definitely, is going to affect the performance of your team because you're not obviously picking the guy you wanted at that stage. But it's not like Kelce had a bad year. And when I look at the rest of your team, because you did draft the rest of the team, you didn't end up very well. I mean, you had a lot of bums on the team. I think you'll be the first to admit. But this is your first full year in a draft. So really no excuses for you, right? This is your opportunity to finally make a stamp in tier two. You've already accelerated to tier two here and got an early jump from the tier three owners. But now it's time for you to prove yourself. So let's just get into your preview here. Share my screen and we'll get into it. So you haven't set your keepers yet. Obviously, when everyone sets their keepers and I'm doing these draft previews, then I'm actually able to kind of estimate who you might pick in the first round because I know which keepers are available. Like in tier one, everybody set their keepers. I mean, it's not locked until 24 hours before, but it also allows me to do a first round outlook on those teams when we get into those previews. I can't for tier two because not enough people have set their keepers, and you're one of them. But when I reviewed your lineup, here's who I have as likely keepers. And again, yeah, the team, I think you actually drafted Hill and Kelce on the auto draft before you got there. And those two guys are definitely going to be keepers for you looking at the lineup. Like I say, the rest of the lineup, if you did the draft, it didn't really end up too well. But I do have a couple of running backs here. Devin Singletary had a good year in Houston last year. Is he the primary back in New York now? We'll have to find out. Tyrone Tracy, the young running back there, the rookie, might eat into some of that as well. There's also Eric Gray there, so we'll have to see what happens there with New York. DeAndre Swift going to Chicago. They said this guy's a weapon. That's why they brought him in. But there's also Khalil Herbert and Roschon Johnson in that running back room as well. That running back room was hard to determine last year. With those running backs over there, they had Dante Foreman as well. So DeAndre Swift does have an opportunity maybe to be the primary back just because we never seen anyone come to fruition last year. I got Tua as a keeper for you as well. He's waiting for the contract. I think the contract's going to come here very soon. Mandatory minicamp for Miami ends today. And essentially they're going to be off for the summer here until training camp. So there won't be much news coming out of Miami, but I would expect we will see news of a contract for Tua. The reports is they have said that he is the long-term answer. So we'll see. And of course, you get the double dip with Tua to Tyreek, right? Tyreek, even though he's older, is still one of the most elite wide receivers in the league, and he's going to put up big numbers. Same with Kelce, right? I mean, he's an old man now by NFL playing standards. But both those guys are going to be primary targets in our offense still, just because of their name, their presence, who they are. So, I still think you have the potential to get some good points. At IDP, I went with Josh Allen. Guy had some big games last year for Jacksonville. The rest of your IDPs, again, pretty weak. So that'll be one area that you'll need to improve on to even try to get a sniff at tier one. You need to know your IDPs in this league. I got other potential keepers, Jacoby Myers and Chris Godwin, both support receivers. They're not number ones on their teams. But just in case Devin Singletary really isn't the starter in New York, you will have a couple of options there with Jacoby and Godwin being potential keepers for you there. Looking at your draft pick scenario, again, full draft this year, you have to be better than last year. And you got to hit on that third pick, right? So likely Marvin Harrison's gone. Somebody else, and then who's that third pick going to be for you, and that's going to be a critical one. It is a snake draft, so you will pick 13th, and then you won't pick again until pick 30, I think it would be. So obviously picking at that third position is going to be huge. All original picks. You never made any trades last year. Not much activity in the trade market. which is fine. I think ultimately in this league, you don't have to make a ton of trades. But if you do try to make trades, the teams that I've seen be successful, not only in the tiers, but in tier one, generally have made some trades to get better. And, ultimately, it's never a bad thing. I think it's never a wasted effort to try to make a trade. Some guys in tier two, I notice, won't get back to you right away, especially over the summer. And that's fine, right? But definitely do your best here. You got all original picks, so I think again you have a clean slate this year to try to show what you can do. And you saved this last year, and I thank you for that, for entering the draft when you did. But now this is your chance, and I want to see what you can do in a full year, improve yourself in this very deep league, and it only gets deeper when you get to tier one with 20 teams. So just a redhead, again, I don't know your name, but I definitely think you are from the States, obviously. And right now, tier one only has three American owners out of 20 in the league. And there is an American division with 5 teams. So obviously we would love to see some American teams move up and take one of those positions away from, I think it's 2 Canadians right now in that American division. All right, Just Redhead, thank you again for last year coming in. I'm looking forward to seeing what you can do this year, and good luck this year.